I was saying before, I know that you work as a fractional CMO, which is interesting job title. One of the things that I'm always thinking about is how do I optimize my time. So, a question for you, and kind of a hypothetical: if you had 2 hours a week to work as a CMO, how would you be spending that time?
2 hours a week. And so like not very much time. Is that what you mean?
Not very much. Yeah. What's the high leverage activities that you're working on?
Man. Okay, okay. I'm gonna assume um a bigger organization, so a more complex organization, because man, this comes up again and again and again. And it sounds obvious, but it's always a problem, is alignment. Like you got all these stakeholders, you're a marketing leader, you got your immediate team, but then you have other departments, you got the CEO, maybe you got a board member or investors. That's a lot of constituents that you're trying to sort of keep together, keep in sync. And when those stakeholders are not aligned, life can be bad. And you may not even realize why. Like, what the hell's going on? Why is this so hard? And so often it's because, well, this person over here thinks this, but this person over there thinks that. Oh, and then you sort of connect the dots and you get them sort of thinking about the same way and, kind of singing from the same tune. And suddenly that makes a world of difference. And so that's so human. That's just sort of organizational realities. But kind of assessing alignment and diagnosing the issues and then working hard to fix those things. If that's the only thing I could do, that's what I would start with, because life can be so bad if that's not the case. And again, these distributed workforces, like it is hard to be aligned. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a great answer. And if you think about it from a cost perspective, it's kind of like, okay, you're not really talking about media spend being wasted, but you're kind of talking about like the opportunity cost of doing the wrong things for extended periods of time.
Yeah, yeah, and it's sort of like one group thinks we're supposed to do this or focus on this outcome, but this other group thinks we should be focused on this other outcome. And then the two groups are like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? Why are we not achieving the outcome? It's like, well, because you thought this and I thought this, and then you're just burning time on misalignment. And so like that's really how I see it play out again and again, for all this wasted unproductive time because you weren't sort of synced up from the get-go.
For sure. It's something that I've kind of learned as I've, grown in my career. These things that bring people together, brainstorming sessions, certain recurring meetings, just to get on the same page.
Totally. Now you're going to get me really going. So then it's relationships. It's human relationships. It's people getting to know each other and understand each other, but also that trust level. Like I know you, I like you, I trust you, so that a month from now, when there's some sort of confusing conversation, we have this base of connection and understanding and trust that makes the resolution of a challenge later on much easier. And the anecdote which I'll share. This is a long time ago. This was I was at Zappos like '09, 10, 11. So it was a while ago. And I don't know if they still do, but they did it for a long time. But this is crazy for managers. Any and every manager of people, Zappos would say, "Hey, manager, you should be spending 10%, maybe it's 20%, either 10 or 20% of every work week on non-work related activities with your team, like bowling and improv. We were in Vegas. So it was like shooting, the shooting range is just like anything. It was like, what? You get it? Like, it's crazy. And then here's what they would do. They would then sort of like, okay, manager, you've now been doing this for 2 or 3 months. You've invested all of this time, not only your time, but your team's fine, like 10, 20% in non-work related stuff. Do you think your team is 10 or 20% more productive and more effective than they were before you started this stuff? And almost every manager was like, yes. Like those investments were so worth it to get everyone on the same page. And it is so, again, unusual and not intuitive, but it was such an eye opener for me. And I can't say that I kind of uphold that, but I try. And the principles are, it just gets people connected, trusting each other, understanding each other, talking, just being friends. And that makes a world of difference. Yeah.